Hello, and welcome to the Envisant Hot Seat. Today we're talking all things pure IT. My name is Melissa Vidito, and I lead the marketing and communications team here at Envisant, and I'm joined today by Doug Williams, our VP of Product Development and Strategy. Today, we welcome Jack Smith, the CEO and co-founder of Pure IT. Welcome, Jack. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Doug, can you share a little on the background of our partnership with Jack?
Happy to do that, Melissa. Thank you. So we started partnering with Pure IT in the last couple of years. And I think if I had to summarize what the partnership has been like, all the way from the initial kind of research and vetting phase through today when it's more marketing and promotion and really trying to get the word out about Pure IT, it's been very natural and very seamless. As you can imagine, we go through a pretty extensive process when we're identifying potential business partners that we want to work with. And Pure IT really checked a lot of those boxes for us. So when I think back to this partnership, there's all the conversations, and the partnership really started in and around kind of towards the end and on the heels of COVID. And I think what's important to call out during that time frame is really what we were hearing from a lot of our credit unions and how the product and services that Pure IT provides really align nicely with what our credit unions need. I mean, if you think back to that time, credit unions were talking a lot about their branches shutting down, or how they can serve their members, or how they would operate differently into the future. Credit unions were telling us they were having a lot of challenges and a lot of discussions in and around how will we staff our organization? Are we going to be hybrid? Will we be remote? Is that full-time, part-time? How will the people that serve in more of an operational support perspective help to take care of our members? In addition to that, we heard a lot about staffing. Credit unions were having a hard time finding, attracting, hiring, and then retaining the right talent, especially as it pertained to any sort of a technology position. And then I think, with all of that, we really started to get a lot of feedback from our credit unions about the digital transformation they were going through because of all these different dynamics. It really put that in hyperdrive. And I think what we saw was there were a lot of credit unions on various, ends of the spectrum, on each end or anywhere in between in terms of where they were on their digital journey. But I think the common theme that we saw was every credit union had a commitment and an understanding that they needed to get better from a digital standpoint. So I think with all those factors taking place, it was really nice to come across Pure IT, who had products and services that could help credit unions kind of navigate and transition and kind of guide them through these challenges that they were facing, many of which still persist today. So there was a great fit from a product perspective. We were very impressed with the service that Pure IT provided. I think most impressive is their accessibility and their transparency. It's very important for us in Envisant that we have business partners that we can count on to provide the same level of service that we do to our clients. So it's very nice to see the commitment that Pure IT had to their clients. And I think lastly, the biggest thing that might have jumped out to us was really the cultural and organizational alignment between Envisant and Pure IT. I mean, if you look at Envisant, our purpose is, everything is centered around helping our credit unions achieve their vision. And I think Pure IT is a very similar organization. They're trying to provide the tools, the resources, the support needed to help credit unions operate into the future and achieve their vision, which is really nice to see. And I also think they do a great job just supporting the credit union movement in general. That's obviously something that's near and dear to our heart. And we obviously could see it was very important to them. I mean, they participate, they provide resources, they're really champions, they're involved in a lot of different events and support organizations that support the movement. So the last couple of years has been a tremendous partnership, and we look forward to growing in the future. But those were some of the more important factors for us as we evaluated the partnership.
Very good. So, Jack, I was happy to meet you at our annual convention last year, and I wondered if you might be able to kind of share with everyone here what drove you to start Pure IT and take the leap into the credit union industry.
Sure. So first, can I please just thank Doug for that phenomenal and wonderful and humbling introduction to our organization and why they chose to partner, why Envisant chose to partner with us. So Thank you, Doug. I mean, that means the world to me, and it means the world to the team. So I just wanted to say I'm humbled by all of that, and I hope that we can live up to all of those things. And we certainly try, and that's our value statement. But I just really appreciate that. But to your
Mhm.
question, why and how we came about. So this is one of my favorite things to talk about because it's near and dear to my heart. So I was running with a few of the people that came to Pure IT with me, a small boutique IT consulting firm here in the Houston area. Quite frankly, we were focused on healthcare and oil and gas. We had one actual financial client in the space, and a dear friend of mine was an executive at a credit union in Dallas, Texas, and gave me a phone call. This was back in 2014, and said, "Hey, I need some help. I brought a company in here to look at our IT stack. We're very antiquated. It's causing issues. We're not able to serve our members like we'd like. I don't trust the company that came in. It felt like they were trying to sell me a lot of hardware and software. Could you? I've known you for 25 years. I trust you. Could you come in and or bring some teammates of yours in and take a look at my institution?" And I was like, "Sure, we'd be more than happy to." And I said, "Good news for you. We don't sell hardware and software. We try to be vendor agnostic. So we'll come in and we'll actually try to understand what your business is trying to accomplish and architect a solution and look at your accounting, your finances, and show you how to do it over a period of time or how to do it quickly or give you multiple options." And she was very excited about that. And so we engaged. Her name is Becky Reed. And at the time, she was the COO of Lone Star Credit Union. We came in and they were blown away, quite frankly. We gave them 5 different options. We told them you can do it, multiple ways. We looked at their books. We showed them how their assets were depreciating over time. We showed them how we could augment staff to get it done because they only had one person in IT, which is a problem in a lot of credit unions, quite frankly, especially in that 75 million and below to almost even 250 million in asset size. You have not a lot of talent or help to get you through those processes. And those people are working hard, but there's only one of them. And they can't do all of these projects and things that they need to get done. And so we were able to give them a path. And Becky said to me at the time, "Have you ever thought about just helping credit unions?" And I went, "No, let me look into that." And so I did. I went and I dove in and I did market research, and I really dove in hard, and I wrote a business plan. I was like, I think there's an opportunity, because what I found out really quickly was so you serve the underserved, but guess what? Credit unions are the underserved of the markets out in the industry. And I was shocked. I was actually very shocked. And so I went back to Becky and I was like, I think you're right. I think they need help badly, especially the size of the institutions, who's actually marketing it. I go, they're getting a lot of help from just mom and pop shops down the road trying to do their best. And this is a lot of money and assets they're protecting. And there's a lot to this from an IT perspective. So it drove me even further. I wrote a business plan. I presented this plan to some gentlemen that I had helped build a company in a past life of mine. And they said, "Hey, this is interesting. You know that we normally like to go after the Fortune 500 clientele, but there's this gentleman named Kyle Stutzman who keeps talking to us about credit unions too. You guys need to meet." And so literally I got off the phone with these guys and I called Kyle and I explained to him what I saw. And Kyle had been a CIO of a large credit union, had been a COO of a large credit union, had ran a CUSO trying to help credit unions from an IT perspective. And he said, "You're exactly right. I see the same thing." He was actually doing independent consulting, trying to help credit unions at the time with the exact same thing. And he goes, "Can I fly to Houston? This is unbelievable kismet. We need to talk. Let's see if there's something here." And so he flew to Houston. I shared with him my desire to help credit unions. I was like, "I've never seen an industry like this. These people genuinely care about who they serve." I go, "I've been working in the oil and gas space. Not anything. I'm not trying to condemn or say anything, but not about the people, about the oil and gas. So a lot different of a mission, and I was just so drawn to it, and he was a part of it. And so I called Becky again, and Becky goes, "Hey, I've been thinking about this." She goes, "Have you ever thought about becoming a CUSO?" I'm like, "What's a CUSO?" And so she explains to me what a CUSO is, and I'm like, that would be really cool. And I got really excited. And so I talked to my other business partners, Trent Henson and Stacy King, and they were both extremely excited. And they were like, "This sounds like..." Trent had already fallen in love, by the way, because he was the person that I put into the first credit union. And he was like, "Jack, these people are phenomenal. We need to go help them. I mean, he fell in love. And so I was like, I think we this is a mission that we could go on together. And so Becky was like, we want to invest in you guys. And that shocked us because they were 125 million asset credit union, right? And they said, we want to invest in you guys. We want you to pivot your entire company to helping credit unions. And so we did it. And we started it in September of 2016, and we had 0 credit union clients. And now we are in 143 credit unions across the country. I think in about 7.5 years, the largest in asset size being around 15 billion. And the smallest that we've helped now is about 5 million in asset size. So we've kind of run the spectrum. And part of the reason that the Envisant partnership was so important to us and meant so much to us is the ability to go help some of the smaller institutions. We've been trying to develop services that can actually go help mitigate their risk, help them get more secure, maybe help them with innovation, even driving some of the member services they're trying to get into. And so that's really been a focal point, but that was the key that drove it, was those initial conversations with Becky and Kyle and their passion. I mean, I have to tell this, and I want to make sure I say this. Becky Reed has made me an advocate for the space. And without her impact on me and my organization, we would not exist. So that needs to be stated unequivocally, that she was probably the main driver. You know, I'm listed as a co-founder and CEO. Well, she was just as important to getting this thing off the ground. So it's the people. I mean, it's always about the people. And anyway, it's just an exciting, awesome thing. So I could talk about this all day. So you guys better shut me up or I'll just keep going. So.
No, that's tremendous, Jack. And I think the passion with which you speak about the origin kind of goes back to what I talked about before, the cultural and organizational alignment. I mean, I think your overview and your explanation of the history really just kind of exemplifies that, and very, very much, aligns with that concept and that idea. One thing I think people would be really interested in hearing, Jack, from you is, we talked a little bit earlier about how we felt there was good product mix, but can you talk a little bit about how Pure IT helps credit unions meet their specific business goals?
Yes, and so what's exciting about what we do is we come in, and we've really been developing this over the last 7 years, but we actually do an assessment, and we come in and we understand the business objectives of the institution. What do they want to do? Not the technical pieces, but what is it that you want to do, and how are you trying to serve the member? And once we get that, and we go and we interview frontline, back office, the call center. I mean, we talk to everyone, right? Because to us, we need to really understand where these issues might align and where technology, because technology by itself, and I need to state this, is not a panacea that solves every problem, right? And everyone always thinks it is, but it is not. It is a part of a solution to a problem. We like to say that problems are like a 3-legged stool. They're people, process, and technology. And if one of those things aren't aligned, the stool falls over, right? It can't stand on two. It has to be aligned. And so your people are just as important as your processes and just as important as your technology. And so our goal is to understand those business objectives, align those 3 aspects of what the organization is trying to do, and then build a strategic roadmap that can either be executed on quickly if they have the funding and that's already been planned, or over a 3 to 5 year time span if that's what it takes to get to all of those strategic goals and objectives. And so we really try to customize that journey for the credit union, and then they can either do it themselves. We can augment pieces of that if they need us to. It just depends on the size. And the examples that I would give, in some of the smaller institutions that we engage with, we do a lot of the work. I mean, they just don't have, if they're rural, they can't get the talent. If they're small, they just don't have the funds for the talent. They need to do it in other ways. But if they're larger, like some of the $1 billion and $15 billion institutions that we engage with, they may have over 100 people in IT. So what we may be doing is more strategic and saying, hey, here's some of the architectural things, or here's some of the design principles, or here's some of the actual strategy things you need to think about organizationally as you go through this. And then we may augment, like with one institution I can think of, for a long time, we've been doing a lot of their aid. They're trying to really move, and this is a big credit union. A lot of credit unions are doing this, but they're going to code as infrastructure, and they're moving their core and everything to the cloud. I mean, full on. And so you can imagine that meant they had a lot of gaps in technical skills, even with over 100 people in IT. So we're filling a lot of those gaps. and we're helping do that lift. Whereas in a smaller credit union, we're doing it all. We might be doing all of that, or we might be managing some of the more complex pieces of their environment for them because they can't. So, but where we typically start is on that strategy piece to really understand the objectives and then align the technology, because what you don't want to do is just buy technology for technology's sake. That is a bad investment. And then you also, what we walk into in a lot of these company or these organizations is what we call tech debt. They've already spent a lot of money on solutions that don't work. And now they're sitting on all this cost and stuff, and they need to clean it out. And then they have to have a path to do that that's actually executable, right? And they need a project plan, and they need project management. And now they're going to need, because this is a cleanup, and then it's a move. And so all of these things we see. And I mean, and when I tell you we've been in 143 institutions, we've seen it all. I mean, I'm not, so but here's the great thing. Every institution we engage with is excited and wants to be better for their member. And that typically is the driving mission that we're all on together, no matter what the other objectives are in that strategy. So it's exciting stuff. And it's always, that is the key. That is always the fundamental key in every credit union we walk into. So.
Yeah.
And I like your ability. I just was going to say, I like how you touched on the ability to serve different credit unions, different types of organizations, the varying degrees of expertise, staffing, sophistication, technology, resources, whatever that is, being able to find kind of custom solutions that fit the dynamics of each unique credit union.
Yeah, that's really what strikes me as well, is just the customization of it. Regardless of the size of the credit union, you can help. And I think that is incredibly helpful now. So when you're looking ahead to 2024, what can we expect to see from Pure IT?
Wow. So the past 2 years, it's funny, we've been really focused on organizational excellence and trying to, it's interesting, you grow your company and you start to get in fast growth phases, and scale always tests your ability to deliver. And so for the last 2 years, there's been a huge internal focus on really getting operational excellence and focusing on that constantly and trying to drive that internal, because we were the cobbler's kids for years. And I hope you understand that phrase, which means we can make everyone else really great shoes, but our shoes were getting really bad, and we needed to get our shoes fixed. And so because if our shoes start to go bad, we can't deliver good shoes anymore. And so we were like, we got to be able to deliver. And so that's where our internal focus has been. So for 2024, it's hopefully our clients are feeling the effects of that internal focus on excellence to deliver better. Because to me, and I tell this to our team all the time, no matter how good we get or think we are, we need to always be trying to strive to be better, and we'll never achieve where we want to be. So if we think we do, then we're complacent and we're not really serving anymore. And so, and we all have to think about that we are in a service industry. And so that is the most important thing that we do. And so focusing on that internally and really getting that aligned strategically with our products and services was very important for us organizationally. So for 2024, it's making everyone feel that. That's what I would say. It's allowing our clients to feel the impact of that. And hopefully that's what we do this year. That's my goal. Or our goal. I shouldn't say my goal. It's our goal.
Well, that's fantastic to hear, Jack.
Yeah. I love that.
Look forward to that. So I guess in closing, Jack, we just want to take a quick moment and say thank you again for your time. This has been an incredible conversation. We enjoyed covering kind of the origins of Pure IT, how you're helping credit unions today, and maybe what's coming in the future. And to anyone that's watching, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions pertaining to Envisant, Pure IT, or the partnership. Feel free to reach out to me at any time, and we will be happy to assist you in a way we can. And Jack, thank you again for your time, and we very much value the partnership.
Thank you guys very much. And it's you guys have been a fantastic partner. We enjoy it. And it was great to meet you as well at the event. I loved ICU. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite conferences of the year, by the way. And watching Tom dance around with all of the mascots was probably my favorite part. So
yeah, he was dressed head to toe, wasn't he? Looking good.
He was. It was phenomenal.
He was.
Thanks, guys.
Again.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks, Jack.